Breaking news. Fox News probably won't tell you this, but God's chosen people in this case, the Israeli army, has recently introduced a new abortion method. And it's completely free if you're a pregnant Jew, Christian, or Muslim from Palestine. Well, it's not exactly free. The United States is funding it to the tune of over $3 billion a year in military aid to Israel. But it was free to this woman. I'm not sure how pro-life Christian nation folks are gonna feel about it, but information is information. So let's get into it, shall we? Gone are the days when you had to put your feet in some pesky stirrups in some sterile office after stealing money out of your boyfriend's wallet to get an abortion, all thanks to the Israeli army. Here's how it works. Just get in the path of an Israeli tank. Lay down on the ground and the tank driver will run over you once. If that doesn't make the baby pop out, they'll back up and run over you again. And they'll repeat this process until the baby pops out of your body. Now, I don't know if the baby that was aborted via Israeli army tank was a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim, because all three religious groups live in Palestine. But if you want to happily think it's one of those Muslims you don't like, feel free to think that anyway. I don't know what this method is called, but for now I'm calling it the Israeli army tank method. Why go to a doctor's office when God's chosen people will abort your baby for you? Yeah, I know. We're only a pro-life Christian nation when we're talking about American babies. That stance doesn't apply to innocent, unarmed, pregnant Jews, Christians, and Muslims from Palestine. There's a video on YouTube showing the incident, and of course the graphic parts are blurred out, and that's okay, because I'd really rather not see it anyway. But no worries. It was probably just some brown-skinned baby that a wealthy white woman wouldn't want to adopt. And besides, Zionism says that if God's chosen people don't run over pregnant Palestinian women with army tanks, that Jesus can't come back, right? Never mind the fact the Bible says that no man knows the day or the hour when Jesus is coming back, except the Father. Jesus himself doesn't even know. But we can expedite the process with atrocities like the Israeli tank abortion method, right? Anyway, the Israeli tank abortion method wasn't performed on you, your daughter, your sister, your wife, your child, your friend, or anyone that's important to you. So carry on. So how do you like that? This pro-life Christian nation is funding Israeli tank abortions with our tax dollars in Palestine and Gaza. How do you like that? Christian nation is funding Israeli tank abortions with our tax dollars in Palestine and Gaza. So how do you like that? This pro-life Christian nation is funding Israeli tank abortions with our tax dollars in Palestine and Gaza.
An Israeli tank ran over a pregnant Palestinian woman back and forth until the fetus came out of her body. Do I need to repeat this again for you? Do you think I enjoy telling this story? Hell no. But do you need to hear it? Absolutely. Why? Because I'd like you to tell me how this act of pure evil is Israel defending itself. How this act of pure evil is targeting or thwarting Hamas. Imagine being a father that witnesses this happen to your wife and unborn child. Would you as a father sit there idly for the rest of your life doing nothing, or join a resistance against the oppression of barbaric murder of your people? This is just one of the thousands and thousands of stories. There are 50,000 pregnant women in the Gaza Strip, according to the United Nations Population Fund, and more than 180 births taking place every day. The complete breakdown of the healthcare system, coupled with the lack of food, clean water, and proper sanitation, means that 50,000 pregnant women and 68,000 breastfeeding mothers in Gaza are facing the risk of preeclampsia, anemia, bleeding, infections, and death. And even when they give birth, there isn't enough fuel to keep incubators running, which results in deaths of many newborns. And just a couple days ago, the Israeli occupation forces arrested and detained a pregnant woman as a hostage with no charges, which they do regularly. And speaking of hostages, you're about to hear a group of dehumanizing hypocrites that are here today asking for the release of their hostages without a mention of the over 10,000 Palestinian hostages being held, a majority of which are held without charge or due process. I'm standing here right now as a father and a husband to a pregnant wife, looking you directly in the eye.